Good morning, everyone. So this gospel passage, the road to Emmaus, is my favorite gospel story, or one of them anyway. I mean, it's kind of a microcosm of the Mass, right? I mean, you have the breaking open of the Word, you have the breaking of the bread, and you have Jesus present in all of it. But what really strikes me with this story is how the disciples did not recognize Jesus. Now, I mean, they've been with him for, I don't know how long. They were his disciples. They knew him well. They walked for 7 miles with him to Emmaus, and they didn't recognize him. Now, the gospel tells us that their eyes were prevented from recognizing him, so maybe they get a break. But even if that were not the case, I should probably not judge them too harshly. I should ask myself, how well do I recognize Jesus? How well do you recognize Jesus? Look around the chapel this morning. Look to the person to your right. Look to the person to your left. Do you recognize Jesus in that person? When we're going about our business during the day, at the store, in a restaurant, walking down the street, do you recognize Jesus in the people whom you encounter? If you see someone who is sick or troubled or homeless, do you recognize Jesus in the face of that person? If I'm honest with myself, I have to admit that I often do not recognize Jesus in the face of those whom I encounter. But Jesus tells us, whatever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, that you do to me. The way that you treat others is the way that we treat Jesus. I think, though, in the breaking of the bread, most of us who come to daily Mass recognize Jesus in the breaking of the bread and the Holy Eucharist. Surely. Right now we have the Bishop's Monstrance, the Blessed Sacrament, visiting us on the Eucharistic pilgrimage, and we've got 24-hour adoration and so many people coming to adore the Lord because we recognize Jesus in the Holy Eucharist. And later today, after the 8 o'clock Mass, we're going to have a Eucharistic procession taking Jesus out into the neighborhood because we recognize Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. But what do we do with that? When we come forward and receive Jesus and we take Jesus into our body, when we leave here, what do we do with that? Are we bringing Jesus with us to others to whom we encounter? That's what we're called to do. We're called to recognize Jesus in the faces of those whom we encounter, and we're called to bring Jesus to them as well. And so today, as we gather to share this most sacred meal, let us ask the Lord to open our eyes that we can recognize Jesus in those whom we encounter, and to open our hearts that we can bring him to them as well.